to our discussion segment now. Um, before we get into some reactions and reviews, I had a pretty interesting topic that I wanted to discuss here. Kind of more lighthearted than um some of the more intense topics that we've spoke about here on the show. But today we're going to talk about releasing music onto separate accounts. So as a manager, I get this question a lot, and quite a few of my artists have asked me about this or wanted an answer on like, should I do this? Should I put this genre over here? Should I put my rock stuff over here? Should I put my rap stuff over here on this account on this name? So that's what we're going to be talking about today, and why you should or shouldn't be doing that. So, a very interesting topic, but I noticed it was like a common question. Um, let's talk about it. Hmm. Sip some coffee first. Um, okay. So, let's talk. Like I said, quite a few of my artists have either brought up this topic in discussion or actually had a question on it. But should you release different types of music on different accounts? Um, look, there's a real easy answer to this, and I'm gonna tell you why. The answer is no. It's like to be completely honest with you, the answer is absolutely not. Now I'm not talking about like throwaway B sides because you need like storage on SoundCloud, and I'm not talking about like alt accounts where you just do like trolley demos or like say Music and Mondays like hosted a track. Like that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about coming up with like a specific artist brand and a whole new persona for a different genre. And you see people try to do this or like try to just be sneaky with it, and it just doesn't. It spreads you way too thin. That's the thing with it. The only people that are really successful with it are artists who already have a steady fan base, right? Because right now, at like a lower level, this is where you want to be doing a lot of your experimenting. So this is some free sauce for anybody that has struggled with this or um, kind of has this issue. But your audience is your main thing, right? So if you're trying to build up your audience through your music, there's no logical reason why you should be splitting up your sounds for people to kind of go and find. Like you're kind of sending people on a goose chase when in reality that's not what you want as an up and coming artist, right? Like say you're only like starting out, you're real small, kind of newer, or you just haven't gotten a nice big drop yet. You don't want to spread yourself thin, right? Like who cares if you drop a rock song and then next week you drop a rap song and then the next week following that you do some dance shit. Like I think all of it should be under one name up until you have at least a little bit of an audience to kind of like see what people enjoy, right? Because for instance, the thing is people are always going to have a problem with what you put out, right? Take people who make like real sad music, right? And like go through like traumatizing things, and then they make like four sad albums and it's like super fire. Like take somebody like Juice World, right? That's like a really great example. um you know Sometimes people like his sad stuff more than they like his like more rap stuff. So when they would drop rap tracks, it'd be like, I want the sad shit, and then they drop a rap track, and then they're like, da 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 da. So people switch up all the time, and people like different shit from you. You know what I mean? So as an artist, you kind of got to recognize that like nobody's gonna be happy with everything that you're putting out all the time anyway. You know what I mean? And plus, if somebody discovers you, right, like say on the uh, maybe at work, on the street, da 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 da. You're talking to somebody at a coffee shop, and they're like, "Oh, you make music? I didn't know that." Oh yeah, well here's my rock account, here's my hip hop account, here's my pop account. It like you don't want to send people on a goose chase, especially when you're building an audience. You know what I mean? Like you don't want to spread yourself too thin when there's like basically nothing there anyway. You know what I mean? And really, all it does is add more work, right? Because then you're always signing in, kind of like signing into new accounts. You're having to manage multiple accounts. You're having to manage essentially like two aesthetics when you really wouldn't have been otherwise. You know what I mean? So right now, at a lower level, this is where you want to be doing your experimenting, right? This is where you want to be doing this kind of like drop whatever you want, because no audience or supporters or fans are going to get upset at you. You know what I mean? But later, when you kind of have an audience and then you drop some, risky experimental shit and they're like, what the fuck is this? You might want to, maybe consider like starting like an alt account or like starting like another persona. I mean, like so many people have been really successful at this, right? I mean, take somebody like Bones and Surrender Dorsey. Um, take a lot of, people's just side projects is really what you should call them. Is really a side project, right? So, coming up, I definitely don't think you should. You know what I mean? I I feel like the only excuse for it is like if you're a producer. Say you're a producer and you just want to put your beats over here and you want to put like your music over here. I think that's pretty logical. I think that's pretty fair. Because one's just instrumentals and one's obviously vocals, right? But anything else past that, I think, is a complete waste of time. And you're gonna have a harder time gaining an audience because, you know, say your main page is like doing decent, right? You got 300 monthly. You might have 1,000 monthly on Spotify and da 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 da. And then you release like a rock song that does like really well, but it might be like, say like out of your element, right? And you go and put it on your side project account, and then that blows up. So now you're kind of fucked in a way, because you have this issue of trying to merge these two audiences together, right? So like there's no like end point for this. That's the problem. Like you just be in an endless void of having to debate where you should release music all the time. Which as an artist, that's like not what you want. Like being an artist is already like being a serious artist is already like stressful enough, right? So you don't want to add on more stress by kind of by trying to micromanage what you're doing with your music when you don't need to, especially so early on. I think like the main thing here is like use this time to have fun instead of like worry about who's gonna like what and like where your first song is gonna blow up or this, that, and a third. Put out music everywhere across all platforms the same way all the time. So that way, when people go to look at your library, they're seeing everything right in front of them. They're not having to go look for other accounts and do this. Oh, this song's over here. This is my extra. No, bro, don't, because it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Like I said, maybe a little bit later down in your career, I could see some justification for it, right? Like I could really see some justification for it. Like when it comes down to like I just want to make like a certain type of song right now, and I don't feel like going through the whole process of trying to promote it to my audience and shit like that. So you could just have like an alt account, you know what I mean? Like call it whatever you want to call it, you know what I mean? And like instead of Zomb Slays, it'd be like Zomb Plays or some simple shit like that. Or you could literally just go like completely rogue undercover, and just make a completely different kind of persona. But yeah, man, I wouldn't waste my time early on. You know what I mean? Like now's about building your fan base and your library and your audience. You don't really want to like separate them. So that's a pretty common question that I do see floating around a lot. But that's just my advice. I mean, what works differently um for other people, that might be others might have a different experience with it, right? Like some people do get lucky. But for the most part, especially like at a certain level. Like if you're a newer artist or you're an artist that hasn't really had a chance to pop off yet, and you're trying to build up your numbers and you're trying to build up your audience, I wouldn't recommend it. You know what I mean? I really wouldn't recommend it. And it's a lot more work than it's like cut out to be. It's like you're essentially managing another artist, and it's yourself when you're already managing yourself if you don't have a manager, right? That'd be like me managing like myself in another way. You know what I mean? And oh, I have to do this on this account. No way, no way. So starting off, not really a wise choice. I would definitely keep all of your songs in one place under one banner, so to speak, and let your kind of fans and supporters tell you what they like out of your library and shit like that. And you can kind of take those stats and you can take those words to mouth and just kind of push forward with whatever sound you're enjoying at the time. And realistically, I mean, you're always going to be progressing as an artist anyway, right? Like sometimes, like I said with the sad music, like sometimes people go through tragic shit, break up, anything, right? And they go and make a bunch of sad music for like 4 years, and then once they get like out of that really dark area in life, their fans will be like, "Oh, I miss the sad shit," and "Oh, da 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 da." But it's just like that's life, though. That's not like some people can pull from those places and make whatever they want, but when it comes to like true shit from the heart, if you're not feeling it, like you can't force it. You know what I mean? Like you can't force yourself to be sad to make like genuine, real, touching, sad music. You know what I mean? So it's like you're not sad anymore. Like you kind of push it into like the motivational, kind of like chin up kind of vibe. You know what I mean? So no matter, even if you did have 500 accounts for 500 genres, some people just are gonna like what they like, and that's it. You know, like some people listen to artists for one specific style that they make and don't even listen to any of their other shit. You know what I mean? Like I feel like rock and country are very much like that, you know? And even like heavier metals and stuff. Like I feel like a lot of those like alternative genres like have that big issue where they're like, "Oh, I like this band's album," or "Oh, I like this and I like that, but I don't like this really sound here and I like them before this album," and all that yada yada. You know what I mean? So fans are very pretentious. You know what I mean? They're very very pretentious. Like real organic supporters. You know what I mean? Like people will just support you because they fuck with you, but those people that like go out and talk about your music and shit, those are gonna be the people that care about that kind of thing, you know. But as long as you're putting out shit that you feel at the time is like what's good to you, that's all that matters. You know what I mean? And I definitely don't think you need to be splitting up your audience, you know, just because you made like a slightly different style of fucking like who cares, bro? You made a slightly different style of music. Like you don't need to create another persona for it. You know what I mean? Like your music is a reflection of you and where you're at the time. You know what I mean? So it's like do whatever you see fit, but I wouldn't waste my time, and I would definitely just keep stacking up the library for sure. But that's that on that, my friends. That'll definitely be uploaded on the channel, so make sure you go sub to the channel. I think we're like 6 subs away from 290. We're closing in on 300, so make sure you go sub to the channel. Go show that some love. We upload 2 times a week, every Thursday, every Saturday. Full podcast episodes, exclusive segments, a whole lot of good jazz over there, man. So go show the channel and this video and the rest of the videos some love. Let's get it.